Right now, deep inside your head, a highly specialized piece of biological hardware is slowly turning to stone. Chronic anxiety and the feeling of being perpetually stuck are the physical signatures of this internal structural breakdown. This anatomical failure begins early. In most people, the tissue starts to harden by age 17 and becomes significantly obstructed by middle age. This structure is the pineal gland, a tiny pine cone-shaped organ that functions as the brain's primary interface for intuition and chemical balance. As long as this gland remains encased in calcium, you are effectively navigating the world with one of your most vital sensory organs turned off. Located deep in the brain, the pineal gland is the size of a rice grain. Sitting entirely outside the blood-brain barrier, it receives massive blood flow. It manages your internal clock with melatonin and well-being with serotonin, the chemical foundations of your perceived reality. Beyond these basics, research indicates the gland may produce DMT, the most powerful consciousness-altering compound found in nature. Its internal structure is an anomaly. It contains rod and cone photoreceptor cells, the same biological hardware found in the human retina. The ancient term third eye serves as a literal anatomical description of this light-sensitive hardware hidden inside the skull. Long before the invention of the modern MRI, ancient civilizations mapped this specific neurological node with startling precision. The Vatican's Pine Cone Courtyard features a massive bronze sculpture of the gland, positioning it as a central icon within one of history's most powerful institutions. In Hindu tradition, this anatomical coordinate is the Ajna chakra, the specific command center designed to balance logic with higher perception. Buddhist iconography marks the same biological point as the absolute center of focus required to move beyond standard human limitations. These global traditions, separated by thousands of miles, centered their most sacred imagery on this specific biological gateway. If we possess this specialized hardware, why do we struggle to access even basic intuition or mental clarity? The answer is calcification. Over decades, the gland develops a hard, white shell of calcium deposits that physically block its function. The primary driver for this damage is chronic stress. When locked in survival mode, your system is flooded with cortisol. Because the gland lacks a blood-brain barrier, it absorbs these stress chemicals directly, causing it to harden. A life lived in constant fear and reaction is physically turning your internal antenna into a stone. Most modern spiritual hacks focus on complex diets and mystical protocols that ignore the underlying biology. Spiritual clarity depends on the physical health of the organ. The process is one of biological detoxification rather than magic. You restore the pineal gland the same way you build a muscle, by creating the specific conditions required for neurological capacity and physical strength. Real intelligence is practical. It requires maintaining your internal hardware so it can process the signals it was designed to receive. Bringing this hardware back online requires the aggressive downregulation of your nervous system. Resolving unhealed trauma and breaking reactive emotional patterns is the only way to lower the chronic stress load that causes the calcification in the first place. As the stress load vanishes, the inflammation recedes, the calcium shell dissolves, and the gland naturally returns to its full functioning state. This biological reset stabilizes your internal chemistry, producing the sharp intuition and emotional resilience necessary to make clear, high-stakes decisions in your work and your life. The potential for a fully activated mind is sitting right behind your eyes. Share this with someone stuck in a state of survival and subscribe to finally reboot your own hardware.